When I have Zoom sessions with people and I'm sharing my desktop and I look at their Excel file and I go through and do different analyses, I'm always asked the question, how are you doing all of this so fast? And the answer is keyboard shortcuts. So I want to talk about a few of them here today. In Excel, for example, if you hit the Alt key on your keyboard, you see these little black squares show up. People ask me, how come your ribbon doesn't show up all the time? Well, it's because I don't need it. I just want the shortcuts. But if you hit H, so it's Alt, then H, here's the ribbon. And if you click the little button here, you can click Always Show Ribbon, so it's always there. But I like to just hide it. Unclick that, so it's not always there. Show tabs only. That's what I want. But back to the shortcuts. So Alt, there are two different types of keyboard shortcuts in Excel. There's the Alt keyboard shortcuts and then the Control keyboard shortcuts. So the Alt ones, if you hit Alt on your keyboard, Excel will tell you what you can do. So if you hit Alt, these black squares show up and all these letters are your next prompt for whatever you want to type to do whatever those things are. So if I hit H, so Alt H, now all of a sudden I have all these other options. So there are people who ask me, Shawn, do you have all of these memorized? No. No, I don't. I have a lot of the commonly used ones memorized that I play with a lot, but most of them I just look up and see where they are and hit the button that requires that and hit the shortcut key that goes to that particular option. It's faster than trying to navigate through all the clicky menus, I think, because I spend an awful lot of time typing anyway. So anyway, for example, let's just do some stuff. So in a lot of balance sheets that I see, I will see an awful lot of folks do this kind of thing. Well, they'll drag these together. That's how they get their tab look, the indent look, to make sure their spreadsheets look the way they want when they print. Now, those of you who've heard me chat before about different formulas, the index match combination formula is really powerful, but it requires all the labels to be in one column. So instead of putting, all of that, playing the games with your column widths and whatnot, just put everything in the same column and you can do the tab that Excel has incorporated. For example, the shortcut would be Alt H6. I'll do that a little bit slower. Alt H, and you see right here, that's increase indent, but it's 6. So if I hit 6, there it is. I do it again. So now I have everything, all the labels in one column. And Alt H O I auto fits to selection. Alt H O is format. Then all these are other options, right? So those things like that to help play around with stuff. And then there's the control shortcuts. Most folks know, Control C is copy, so that I can click anywhere else and say Control V is paste. If I did Control X, that's cut. You can paste it over there, delete from where you used to have it. Control Z is undo. But there's an awful lot of other keyboard shortcuts, and in fact, there's this website, Google support and keyboard shortcuts. There's a whole long list. You can go Windows 11, Windows 10. I'm going to go Windows 11 here. So all these options are here for screen grab stuff. Or for the copy paste, it's a drop down menu. Just click here and hide it. I have it opened. Control X, Control C. Then you start getting into Windows L. That's the key between the Control and Alt on your regular keyboard. If you have a laptop, it's next to the FN button or off. So maybe it's replacing the FN button and the Windows key is elsewhere. But F2 opens up file names. You can resave things, change the names. So all these F functions. And some more Alt shortcuts here you can do different things with. But I will put this URL in the comments section of the on YouTube here. So you guys can look through that if you like. But it's just the most commonly used shortcuts. I like Control 1 is in a shortcut 1, bring up format cells. Then when you're in a menu, without grabbing the mouse, you can still navigate. Do you see the dotted square around this menu? That means that's where your cursor is. If you hit the arrow keys on your keyboard, you can scroll through those options. When you find an option you like, you hit the tab key, and now you're in this other menu. I like accounting. Tab, 0 decimals, and no symbol. So now if I type a number, I get the column, but I don't have to worry about decimals. So if I did 0.25, it's just going to show 0. But if I did Alt H0, now I've increased the decimal range. So another thing you can do is, if you can copy something, let's do this down here. Let's say if I copy this format, then Alt, I use the old version, be E, S, T is the one that has the combination I've remembered. That formats the format, or copies the format. No, it pastes the format from the copied cell. Adds the 2 decimals and copied the format over. That would be, another way of doing that would be Alt H0, and that gives you some of these options here. Format E, format cells. That's how you get that menu up. But instead of doing it that way, I'll just do Control 1. So another shortcut I like to use for moving around, instead of typing the right arrow all the time to go to where I want to go, you could just do Control left arrow, Control right. And that moves you from a cell with data to the very next cell that might have data. If you're in the middle of it, it moves you to the cell that has data. Control end takes you to the end of the workbook where you've currently had data and put information in there. So if you had a great long workbook with data spread on multiple sheets all the way down, multiple pages, Control N would take you there. Control Home puts you back in cell A1. So that's just some more navigating tricks from Excel. And anyway, any other questions about shortcuts and things? Give me a call. I'd be happy to chat. Have a good day.